they will need to survive. But now the monsoon brings filming to a halt. The park is closed and the camera elephants are redeployed on anti-poaching patrols. The monsoon refreshes the land and refills the reservoirs that will be so valuable during the drier months. The park is transformed into a lush green oasis. But despite the tranquility, the heavy rains make this a hazardous time for small cubs. 10 weeks pass, and the camera elephants return to filming duties. After a long search, they find the tigress, but worryingly, her cubs are nowhere to be seen. The elephants follow her towards one of her favourite den sites. It's good news. At least 3 cubs have survived. And then a 4th. The cubs are now 3 months old. They've stopped hiding in their dens and venture out every day, but only when their mother is around. They sometimes accompany her on hunting trips, and they move from one den site to another as she travels around her territory. Play, it seems, is never far from their mind. It's good for practicing hunting skills, and it's also a lot of fun. While they get rid of their surplus energy, the mother has some time for herself. Even at this age, her cubs can be quite a handful. All this play develops their strength and coordination, and it occupies a lot of their time. They play for a third of the day and sleep for another third. The rest of the time, they eat. They're growing fast, putting on around 3/4 of a kilo each week. Although they look small next to their mother, they are already twice the weight of a domestic cat. They've just started to take meat, but their mother's milk still provides most of their nourishment. With the cubs out and about, keeping up with them is a considerable challenge for the camera team, but help is on its way. Meet LogCam, a small remote camera that can be deployed quickly by the elephants themselves. It can be placed around waterholes or on animal paths and tracks. The camera is triggered by any movement of a nearby animal. Left alone, it can lie in wait for days. This langur monkey is transfixed by her reflection in the lens. These spy cams are now deployed 24/7, recording everything that happens in front of them. Even though some see through their disguise, the cameras between them capture a wealth of extraordinary behaviour. Spotted deer and langurs find safety in numbers and often travel around together. Log cam reveals just how unruly the deer's neighbours can be. Despite the rough and tumble, sharing sentry duties make sense when a tiger's on the prowl. Time to get baby on board. With eyes everywhere, there is literally nowhere to hide. They have a special alarm call for a tiger, and it's never too young to learn its meaning. These incessant calls follow the tigress wherever she goes, making it difficult for her to launch a surprise attack. With a tiger in their midst, monkeys have at least one way to show their disgust. As soon as the tigers relax, the excitement begins to die down. The tigers are used to playing a waiting game. The forest gradually quietens. Its inhabitants live under constant threat from tigers, so they must make the most of any periods of calm. This is the moment the tigress has been waiting for. Langurs are strict vegetarians, and now in the monsoon there is food everywhere. With plenty of time on their hands, their guard is down. Any film of tigers hunting is rare, and forests are very difficult locations because the vegetation obscures the view. But the elephant cams can film even in the deepest forest. Waterholes make the perfect spot for an ambush. Tigers seize any hunting opportunity, but if they're undisturbed, they prefer to hunt in the day. The jungle early warning system is back in operation. The calls put the whole forest on edge and make the tigress's job more difficult. Faced with a choice, she favours the larger samba deer, but the monkey alarms are making them nervous. As deer have poor colour vision, a tiger can be within sniffing distance but still be unseen in the grass. She relies on her camouflage, which breaks up her outline, but in the midst of the herd, many eyes are watching. The samba signals her unease to her companions, but she's still unsure of what she sees. All seems lost. But in thick forest, the tigress still has everything to play for. She uses the river valleys as cover to cut off the deer's escape. For the deer, out of sight is out of mind. She's regained the advantage of surprise. When running, she can cover 9 meters in each leap, but even so, the closer she can get, the better. She gets it. She kills by throttling. If the prey is small enough, she'll carry it back to her cubs. But after a long hunt, they can be quite a distance away. She is already having to double the number of kills she makes, for the cubs have developed quite an appetite. The cubs are now 14 weeks old and need all the meat they can get. They can eat over 1 kilo of meat each day, the equivalent of 20 large steaks between them. It's just as well Pench Reserve has such a thriving population of prey animals. Because of its value as a sanctuary for tigers, this old teak forestry plantation was made a reserve in 1992, and now it has many other secretive inhabitants, as the spy cams discover. A family of wild boar. Left to record all day, it's surprising just what the spy cams capture. Who would think that a pond heron faces competition from a kingfisher? Even langurs have to keep their distance. As well as capturing unusual behaviour of other animals, the spy cams are able to film the tigers when the elephants are off duty. A painted spurfowl makes an entrance and an equally quick exit. The cubs may be gaining in confidence in dealing with the smaller inhabitants of the forest, but they're far from kings of this jungle. Their inquisitive nature gets